Hello, PR coaches. Thank you for giving us a shot and allowing us to join you on your journey to educate your clients. When you log in, the first thing you're going to want to do is update your logo. So if you give your clients permission to see the report or the forms, they'll see your logo as well. To add a client, simply hit Add Client, enter their name, email address, choose the client permission, leave any internal notes that the client doesn't see, and shared notes that the client can see. So let's take a look at what it means, what the permissions mean. No access means they don't get an invite at all. Form only means that they will be able to see just the form or any notes you leave behind for them. We'll go into the form in a minute. Report preview means they see at the end of the report, at the form filling exercise, the report that they see, but they don't get to dive into all the details. So they'll see eligible competitiveness, all the programs and assessment, but they can't click into it. And then lastly, a full detailed report gives them the same access that you have for the report. Later, when we do chatbots, those kinds of things will still be just for representatives, but all the other functionality will be for everyone. So they could expand the assessments, dive into programs, if you allow them to have a detailed report. When you choose form report or detailed report, they will get an invite that looks like this. They create an account, and because you sent the invite, their account would get linked to yours. Now, let's take a look at the form. The form is effectively an enhanced CRS. If you use a CELA one, it's a demo account. You can't make any changes. For this exercise, let me show you a different one. The first three sections are largely the same as CRS, or these two. Education is where it gets more detailed, as we need that for PNP programs. The region within a province can determine points. The programs can impact points as well. The institutions must be from a DLI list. And in work experience, similarly, the NOCs are used, the visa authorization, so in CC, excluding study permit, in some of the Alberta programs, excluding spousal work permit, are factors that are taken into account. Regions can determine points once again, or even eligibility in BC. As an example, we don't ask how many years of experience based on their start date and end date. Their hours are determined. If it's part-time, then we ask for the hours worked per week to determine the hours worked. They can add multiple jobs. If there's a break of more than 2 weeks in between the jobs, it's not considered continuous. We know discretion is allowed there. So as an example, for teachers, it could be longer with summer breaks. And so in those cases, what you want to do is make sure that the end dates are within 2 weeks for it to be considered continuous by the system. If you have any questions on that, don't hesitate to reach out. If you click this I button on top, it will also give you a list of assumptions that we've baked in. At the end of this, you'll get to a report. I'll show you Cindy's report because she has a partner. So if you have a spouse, you'll see the assessment for both candidates simultaneously. That way you can determine who the best primary candidate is. Primary and secondary here is based on who entered the data, not who we're recommending. The recommendation is up to you. You could do quick searches. So if someone asks about a master's program, you could look that up and you could see that there hasn't been any draws in the last 12 months, so effectively a dormant program. You could filter by province, by type, competitiveness. You could have a quick scan of the client score, the latest draw for that program when it was held, competitiveness, which is simply the score relative to the last draw for that program. We've got some feedback on having a third potentially competitive tag or renaming these tags. Happy to get some input on what you would find useful there. Eligibility is meeting all the minimum eligibility criteria. If you click the summary view, which turns into detailed view, you can see the eligibility criteria for each program and do a quick scan across to see if there are programs where it appears that the gap could be bridged. Anything that's got a yellow exclamation mark is something that we don't determine through the system. And we've done this deliberately because there's usually a high degree of misunderstanding of these elements or requirements that we think it's best for you to have discussions with your clients on these elements. Another example of this is we determine eligibility in the system based on NOC codes. In Alberta, many of the programs are based on title. We've mapped the NOC codes to the title, but it's not always a one-to-one. So this is where your discretion, once again, is required. So anything in yellow you want to pay attention to. Anything that is either a green or a red, our logic should have taken care of. If you dive into any of the programs here, it's a consistent experience. You'll see that the draws on the left-hand side. In this particular program, they do targeted draws. So what you'll see is this particular client, their NOC 31100 is what makes them eligible for the program. So you see those ones, and you see those draws in green. So it's possible in some cases that they were eligible for the program, but when they were doing targeted draws, that specific NOC was never called. So you would be able to see that if you see a sea of just light gray, that would be the case. There's some draws where they don't announce the scores for them because there's so here in this, and you can see in the draw notes here, it's because they were targeting career development practitioners and career counselors for this particular one, and it was kind of independent, and so the government hasn't published much information beyond that on the number of invites issued or the scores for them. And then if you go further down, you'll see some additional reference data. You'll see the calculators in OINP. There's multiple variants of the same calculator, so you may see different ones in different programs. And then there's links here. The intent is you could click on things that are relevant to you immediately and get access to them. So this one is taking you to the NOC that the client was eligible for. One of the questions we of course get is, how do we know what you're doing is accurate? Here you could see the logic that we've used. So you could, if you want to do a verification, you have that option. So in this particular requirement, what we're doing is making sure that the job offer is full-time paid. We only allow for full-time paid in the system. We know in FSTP you could stack multiple job offers, but the assumption that we're operating under is that it's a singular job offer that is a full-time permanent job offer. We're making sure, actually, so it doesn't need to be permanent, but full-time. Here, we're making sure that the job offer is permanent, that it's within tiers 0 to 3 in Ontario, above median wage level based on the form input, and it's in a primary NOC, which means that they have work experience in that NOC, which we'll cover in the rule below. We're making sure their work experience is in full-time or part-time. In this particular user's case, it was all full-time, and it was in tier 0 to 3. We filtered out experiences beyond 5 years. If a client has 2 years in NOC A, a year in NOC B, a year in NOC C, we would put each of those NOCs through this rule to see, do they have more than 2 years of experience in a given NOC, which what we're calling the primary NOC here. So in the example I gave, where it was 2 years, 1 year, 1 year, the 2 1-year experiences would be filtered out because they need to have 2 years of experience. And only the NOC that they had 2 years of experience would make its way through being the eligible NOC. And then, of course, any of the yellow ones, they have a link, so you could go check the requirements yourself, but these are things that you need to verify manually. Any other kind of general assumptions, we talked about continuous work experience earlier and how we've configured things. There are general requirements that we don't repeat for every program because they are kind of standard. So we leave that up to you as opposed to repeating that in every single program. That's the platform in a nutshell. Every single program has the same layout, so you have consistency and experience. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. If you have feedback, your feedback is a gift to us, so don't hesitate. Don't spare our feelings. We value feedback a great deal, so please let us know what we can do to make your lives easier in helping you educate your clients as they embark on their journey to permanent residency. Thank you. And you could reach out at saru@prcoach.ca or call me at 647-997-7278. Thank you.